Hello and welcome to, I think it might be our 17th time together. I'm not quite sure. I'm losing track. Um, but today, I just wanted to share with you. We're going to take a look at practicing a perspective, a different perspective type of meditation. This type of meditation is going to be more of a journaling one. So if you have a journal, you're going to need that. Um, or if you have something to write down your thoughts for a little while, that would be fantastic. If you don't, that's okay. What we can do is we can do a definitely a thought out practice just with your mind. But I'm going to tell you that I have found, especially over the last week, journaling as extremely powerful because I myself over the last week, I think have had monkey brain. I think that this social distancing is really I'm kind of cracking a little bit because I'm realizing that I'm sitting with thought a lot. And I'm also realizing that normally when I have a feeling of discomfort, of fear, of sadness, of, of anything that is not good, it's not a good feeling. I do not have the capabilities of really diverting my thoughts and my actions as easily as I did when our world wasn't in a social distancing type of phenomenon. Um, See, many of times we use vices to divert pain or uncomfort. And vices, some people, I think right now people talk a lot about alcohol, which is not always a real healthy option. Some people have used devices of like working out, like they just become these workout crazy awesomeness people who just work out, and boy, their bodies are in shape, and oh my gosh, they look phenomenal. But their insides are not as in shape because they've been using working out as the vice, as the escape hatch for not having to deal with certain emotions and feelings. Some people use work. I think that's also a very big one, and a lot of people aren't working right now, or they're working from home, or they're working less, and so definitely their vice to avoid discomfort is has changed things up. So people have to deal with these thoughts and these feelings a little bit more often with themselves. And so, how do we do that? How can we kind of really work through some of these discomforts that we would normally go to the gym and work out and have social connections and conversations to divert us from thinking about what is painful or what is uncomfortable. Sometimes people would just, hey, I dive into work. That way I have a resource. I have people to talk to. I have relationships there that make me not think about whatever's hurting me, whatever is making me sad or fearful. Those escape hatches we don't have. And so it's super important to understand that you can kind of change your perspective on things, and it's like a you get like a trifecta in this practice. When we do it, we're going to see three different viewpoints. And so what I'd like us to do is I'd like us to get a journal out and something to write with, and a writing utensil. And if not, and you don't want to write, go ahead and just do a meditation with thought. However, this one is definitely better if journaling. During our journaling, make sure that you are also taking conscious breaths and you're using your time wisely. Okay. Using your time wisely, meaning practicing your non-judgment, practicing your kindness and compassion, practicing your bringing back and your grounding or your anchoring skills that we've talked about, practicing your relaxation, body relaxation, talk and practice definitely your breathing and making conscious breaths. Now, you don't have to think of all this stuff all at one time, but recognize that you have this go-to. And I will be guiding the meditation, so hopefully that will help. I will remind you to think about your breath. I'll remind you of acknowledging how your body feels, all of that during your journal. So hopefully this will be interesting meditation for you, an interactive one, and you find it helpful in regards to finding different perspectives on things. So, all right, go ahead and get yourselves comfortable and take a large deep breath in with a slow and steady exhale out. Even though we're writing, I want you to make sure your shoulders are down and that maybe you're gripping that writing utensil in your hand a little bit more relaxed and not real strong and hard. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about a challenging relationship you have right now. It might be with a family member, more than likely it is, and you're really struggling with a situation that you have with them. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write down your perspective of that challenge. But before you begin writing, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think about, when you think about that discomfort that you have regarding that relationship, where did it tighten up in your body the most? Normally when you think of something, you'll all of a sudden get a tightening maybe in your throat, in your chest. Maybe you'll all of a sudden feel like a punch in the gut. Maybe all of a sudden you start getting a pain in your head. Just recognize where that challenging relationship you have with someone right now, where that discomfort is. And then just kind of write that down in the beginning of your journal. And then what I want you to do is I want you to think of this situation as kindly as you can and as gentle as you can with yourself. And so just start writing down, here are the facts of the situation. This is maybe what led to the conflict. This is how I'm feeling about the conflict. This is how I see the conflict. This is how I think the conflict is going to impact my immediate future. Or the here and the now, I should say. Just lay it all out there. And do you find that part of your body that seems to tense up when you think about this, tensing up a little bit more when you're writing? And if so, what I'd like you to do is recognize that feeling of the intensity in your body and take that conscious breath with kindness and compassion and just say, it's okay. We all have challenging times. It's okay, right now I'm tensing up, and the tensing has nothing to do really with the situation. It's my response to the situation, and I can reduce that response. I can make that response less just by giving myself some kind and compassionate attention right now. And just keep writing. Keep writing what it is that you see going on in that conflict, how you're feeling in that conflict. And if you're not writing, you're just thinking about the moments. And if your mind drifts, go right back. Don't be judgmental. Just go right back. And be like, okay, I identify my mind drifting. That's okay. This is something, and if you're journaling, you can always write down, I thought about this. I need to think about that later. And then move back to what task you're on. Now, if you're journaling, I want you to finish up journaling for just a couple moments. And the nice part about this is you can always go back to it when you're done if you want to add to it. But I would strongly suggest you go through all three parts again. Don't just go through one. Give attention to all three again. All right. Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take a large inhale. Wherever that tightness was, I want you to try to release that tension that was in your body. And I want you to just be loving to yourself. And know that this practice can be challenging. So next, what I want you to do is I want you to write about the conflict and the perspective of the other person. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Okay? So take a large deep breath and think about that other person as a whole person, not just about the conflict, but as a whole person. And I want you to write down what you think that person is going through during this time of conflict. How are they seeing the conflict play out? Now, hopefully you know something personally about this other individual, because then you can talk about how, well, maybe they are out of a job and so their stress is pretty heightened. And so when talking to me, you know, maybe they have a lot of worry on their mind, and I'm that punching bag for them, to let it all out. Not that that is okay, but kind of talk about the perception from their viewpoint and use their experiences and maybe why it is they are seeing this conflict the way they are. And again, if you have some things drift from this conflict, then it drifts back into your mind. Take it and say, hey, I'm working on this conflict right now. I want to work with you later. If I need to jot you down and let you go until later, I'll do that. If at times you feel that it's really tough to be in their shoes, if you're having difficulties, just take a large deep breath and then try to shift back into their shoes, into their viewpoint, into their perspective. And then just keep going. And just keep writing. What could be going on in their mind during all of this that creates this conflict, that plays a part in the conflict? But remember, always have a kind and compassionate heart when you're thinking about this. Your job is not to be evil, because we know evil does not strengthen our goodness and strengthen our approach to the world right now. And so we want to practice kindness and compassion and gratitude and forgiveness so that we can strengthen those skills during this time. So if you find yourself being critical of this person, maybe take a conscious breath and be like, you know what? I really need to see this from their point of view, not mine. So let's be open here. Open to new viewpoints. Take another moment or so and then finish up your journal in this section. If you recognize any body part that may have tightened up, it's good to know this and just kind of take some conscious breaths right now to kind of reboot that part of you, because we're going to leave that perspective and go into one more. All right, next you're going to bring in your wise self. You're going to talk to yourself as if you were your wisest, bestest friend. Your one wisest, bestest friend that can reflect for you, can help you look back in a more objective way, can give you insight that you might not have seen right away. And I want you to use that inside wise person. And now I want you to look back at that conflict that you had with that individual. And I just want you to write down, what would that wise, so wise individual tell you? Sometimes I say to myself, what would like Maya Angelou tell me? Or what would Brene Brown tell me? What would Oprah Winfrey tell me? What would Ellen DeGeneres tell me? You know, what would Steve Jobs have told me? What would Phil Jackson tell me? I find these people very wise. They've gone through a lot of things in their lives, and they've learned from every experience. And so I want to kind of bring in my wise self and reflect on these things in a more kind, compassionate way. And I'm not taking sides when I'm this wise individual. I'm just seeing it as it is. And when you see it this way, do you carry any like pain or discomfort, tightness anywhere? Anything different? Are you feeling anything different? If you're finding yourself being judgmental of yourself and not this wise self, make sure you check yourself back into place of non-judgment. And just keep writing, because remember, as I said, 10% is reality, 90% is the way you perceive things in life. It's your own narrative. And today we're taking 10%, which is a conflict, and we're finding 3 different perspectives of that conflict. Because right now we don't have that option to run away from our problems as easily as we did before. Now we might still do things like intensely clean our house every week or every day to avoid certain things in our lives. It's okay. I don't. But there are people that do. What would that wise self say to you? The wise self that's not deep cleaning the house. The wise self that's not engaging in other vices that can help you avoid feelings of discomfort. Now finish up on that journal entry of your 3rd perspective. Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just sit and take that large deep inhale with the cleansing exhale. And I'd like you to do that again. The cleansing exhale. It's not as easy to run from your problems right now. And we all do it. You know, we all do not want to feel pain or discomfort in any way, shape, or form. Fear, nothing, none of that. And our outlets for this have definitely lessened throughout social distancing. And so we may struggle a little more than we normally would. When you find yourself in that position, see if you can look at things from 3 different perspectives. Your current self, if there's someone else involved, which normally there is, you look from their perspective. And then you tap into that wise person we all have within. To say, how can I look at this a little bit more clearly and compassionately? If I was my best friend, what would I be saying to her right now? Because this way, we have the ability to get away from more than likely our judgment, our negativity. But we're not hiding and we're not running away from it. We're taking a look at it. And then we're trying to see it from another perspective. And then we're trying to kind of give ourselves self-love and forgiveness and compassion to the best of our ability in order to help us get through that challenging time without hiding. Instead, we're doing it by owning. Thank you so much for being here today, and I hope this has helped you.